Hello, it is December the 24th, 2016, and we started this out on the 23rd, but we waited until now, which is 7 minutes to 3. Now this is duly noted 18F. Okay. Now, in this about religion, someone asked me the other day about, because one person was saying, well, America has nothing to do with Christianity and basically ignorance at its best. Okay. So now I'm going to break it down in terms of America, and the hierarchy means number one hierarchy of America being Christianity, and give you the facts, overwhelming facts, not fake news, fake information, truism, true things that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, so what do we know about Jesus? Okay, as you can see, I'm not reading from a teleprompter, and I have Hallelujah in the background. So hopefully it's not overwhelming my voice. Okay, so Jesus. In short, in brief, because I can be brief and still prove in a court of law, any court of law, Supreme Court. Okay, so what do you know about Jesus? Okay, he is talked about as being the Son of God. Okay, basically someone different from the ordinary. Basically a leader. He was a Lord of the Jews. A Lord, well, that's another word for president, leader. Okay, so he's a leader. Now, we know with Jesus and his disciples. Disciples is essentially a different name for apprentices. Okay, if you, in the English language, you take a word and look it up and see what other words are out there that mean the same thing. And you will notice that there are several words. Several words that mean the same thing, convey the same message. So if I said walk, there are many words to use in terms of walk. Just like you have many titles: mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, asshole. So titles and names. Now what we know with, okay, so let's just focus at Jesus and the 12 disciples. 24-hour day. Our 24-hour day in the United States is noon and midnight, 12 and 12. Okay, so to be consistent with the laws of energy, which we'll discuss, Jesus had 12 disciples, men, and then Mary Magdalene, which is, for the record, a disciple, an apprentice. So if Jesus was man of God, meaning an energy man, because that's what God is, no matter what you call it. But when you refer it to energy, and your energy, and everything around you is energy, then you're grouping up in a unity thing that is widely accepted. So Jesus is always around something, just like in the Last Supper. Jesus is on the table, one hand's up.
USA, another bright idea from Bullpen. The ultra-bright, tough-grade flashlight that features tactical...
One hand's up and one hand's down. Okay. Well, Jesus' name, J-E-S-U-S, is 5 letters. We got 5 fingers in terms of numbers. Okay, so one's up and one's down. Okay, so if one hand represents the penis and one's flipped, means the opposite. It means that would be the vagina, or the counterparts, the male and female. So if Jesus had 12 men, apprentices, disciples, he also had at least 12 apprentices. For the sake of understanding, means he was grouped together, coming together. Okay. America, on the back of a $1 bill, "In God We Trust." Now, on the back of the $1 bill, and I have made postings on this, it is my symbolism. It is my symbolism. It has many symbolism, only known to the creator, the author of it. My initials. There's many things on the back of the $1 bill. The eagle over here, facing that way, facing on the right, looking in the direction of the pyramid, which is on the left. I'm left-handed, southpaw. The activity of my brain starts on this side, and since our brain is crisscrossed, starts here and ends here. That's my dominant hand. Right to left. Orientation. That's my energy orientation. That is the orientation on the back of the $1 bill. Okay, so the nativity sign. The baby Jesus, mom and dad. The 3 wise men. Animals, lambs. Nativity, mean symbolism for house. And so the 3 wise men come from afar. Okay, if you just look at that, it's people come together. Okay, and it's like, okay, of course the story is for the birth of Jesus, the Lord. Basically, in symbolism, means a very special, unique individual, different than any other person on this planet. But when you stand back and look at the nativity sign, is Jesus' focal point, and people are coming around. Means the grouping, coming together. So, when I say Merry Christmas, well, the name, and I was talking about words and communications, if I say Mary, even though it's spelled M-E-R-R-Y, the way it's pronounced, it looks different than the name Mary, M-A-R-Y. But when I say Mary and Mary, they sound identical, like identical twins. The 2-factor. Okay, the 2-factor. So if I say Merry Christmas, now, it doesn't say Jesus. You can say, well, that's Jesus' birthday, December 25th. You would think that. Okay, but if you say we're celebrating Christmas, okay, that's someone of Christianity. That's more religious tones. If I say Mary, then you think I'm talking to a woman. So who knows, there might be a male out there named Mary. But when you say Merry Christmas, as we know with Jesus, Mary is the mother. And Christ, which is another label or name for Jesus, Christmas. Son and mother together. So if you say them separately, it doesn't sound right. Merry Christmas is, in terms of symbolism, mom and son and its family coming together. You have to keep them together. It's like your family. Any walks of life, any nation out there. What do people do? Despite your religion, sector, any walks of life, even with animals, they come together in unity. In unity. Come together, being punctuality. So there's a lot of things that can happen, just like the Last Supper. Okay, we got one hand, one up. The yin, the yang. Jesus' name is 5 digits. The 10 factor. So on a $1 bill, you see spelled out 1. But if you wrote down 1, some people would say just 1, or you can also write down 0, 1. So if I read it this way, it's 0, 1. But my energy orientation is this way. 1 and 10. Okay, so we got the nativity scene. We got Jesus with his disciples. Okay, we also have the crucifix, or crucifixion. Basically, they brutalized and they tortured him because they did not understand him. You know, evolution, the way people think and do things. And, you know, it's like you going back, you, not me, but you going back to the caveman and say, hi, my name is Mary. Here's my smartphone. This is my tablet. This is my jacket. And here's a wallet. And the caveman goes, He hasn't established your language. He doesn't know your language. He's looking for, in terms of self-preservation, he's thinking, are you there to kill him? Or he might say, oh, that smartphone, you the light God. Okay. So you can see with the difference of the evolution, there's a big difference. So you have to down, like I said, as Einstein. If you don't know in its simplest form, you don't know enough. Means if, say, you, caveman or cavewoman, if it's just you two, and you have to procreate to keep the population, keep the human race going, you're going to have to build an evolutionary bridge so you can procreate, understand languages and stuff. So understand. So, okay. So we have the 12 factor. We have noon and midnight, 12. 24 days. Okay. So 24 hours in the day. Okay. So today is the 24th. Christmas Eve. 12 and 12 is 24. Okay, so even in crucifixion, they whooped him and beat him and tortured him and put him up on a cross. That is still an element of unity, because many people showed up in unity together, grouping up to watch him suffer and die. So even on the reverse side, I mean, coming together for the sake of good, people also were coming together. Even in the worst of things, they feel compelled to come together to witness this, which basically was an election, like a presidential election. They decided, and then they let one person go, who was a rapist and murderer and pedophile. Okay, so when you look at all these little elements, it's quite clear. Jesus was about grouping things together. The nativity sign, it wasn't just humans there. It was family. It was friends, means people that wasn't of DNA. There was animals there. Symbolism means all walks of life coming together. Okay. So do your research. You know, even if you're not Christian, or maybe you're an atheist, or you're Islam or Muslim, is just look at the facts. You know, characteristic, personality, that's inseparable to Jesus. Okay, so that started in Israel. Okay, so that's basically a main, well, it's a primary element. It's inseparable. No matter what else Jesus was said or doing and what have you. So in the Last Supper is a known picture. And there's a lot of symbolism in there as well. So, you should be asking yourself, why do I know so much about this shit? So, is your first clue. United States. I have alienable rights. You have unalienable rights. Okay? How do I compare that? If you're a homeowner or you rent your apartment, you would be alienable. Your guests that come in, your friends that come in, your home, we call them guests, we call them friends. Okay, they would be unalienable. Okay, so to give you in terms of reference, unalienable rights. I have alienable rights, meaning this is my home. This is assigned to me. You're in my home, under my laws and rules. Meaning you are my apprentice. You're here because you wanted to be here, and you want to be a leader of leaders. You want to know what's the thinking process of God. So, not everyone took and chose the forbidden tree of knowledge of good and evil, positive and negative, male and female, day and night, the two-factor, water, even though it has three elements. Well, not three elements, but two elements paired up in a 1-2 factor. H2O. 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, but still two elements. Okay, so we have Israel. So if Jesus, obviously, we've already established that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that Jesus was about coming together, even in his death. Okay? And we say born-again Christian. And there's also in Revelations that Jesus will return. Okay? Well, I say, I thought we killed him. Oh, no, we didn't kill him. Okay, born-again Christian. That's strong implications of reincarnation. Now, why, you figure back then, put your evolutionary glasses on. If I'm a teacher, and you don't understand certain things, because some things with your evolution, you don't understand it yet. So born again. Now people perceive as born again is if I accept Jesus as my Savior, he's the light and the way to God. Okay. Okay, so he is coming together. And he's a leader. He's a head guy. He's also the Son of God. Okay. And we have Israel. Now, the United States, there's 3 parts to United States. Did you know that? Well, we know, if you know your North America and South America. United States is part of the North America. 2 parts. Where's the 3rd part? And I don't mean Hawaii because it's out in the ocean. That's Israel. So Israel, if it was to change its name, it would change it. It would be something America. Jesus. Okay, so now Jesus about coming together, bringing people together. Animals, friends, people, family, non-family, everyone. That was symbolism, bringing people together. Okay, when you look at other nations out there, and you look at, say, Russia and China, you say the diversity of people. You go to China, you see mostly Chinese people. You go to Japan, you see mostly Japan. Okay, now in 2016, people are going to other countries. Okay, but when you look at the percentage of people in China, you know, the people from here or from other things is a small percentage compared to the 1.5 billion people of China or Russia. So they're mostly Russians, they're mostly China, they're mostly this. So you say, well, okay, he started there. So now you're saying, if he's about coming together, people coming together, people. Well, Israel is not going to be big enough. We got 7 billion people. Are you going to pack 6 billion people in Israel? No. Just like if you outgrow your house, you have children, you need more bedrooms, you move to another house. So that's what United States comes in. It's a much larger landmass in terms of timing and placement. All the nations are placed in the best position for self-preservation. You got different evolutions, and that's why some oceans separate certain nations. It makes it harder for them to destroy each other. Especially if you only have a rowboat. If you got an army. So it makes it difficult to try to destroy a nation when you have a big obstacle. Okay, so with that concept of Jesus, now Jesus has to relocate. He has to find a bigger landmass to accommodate multitude, all walks of life. Now, when you come to America, okay, there's Russian. They are Russians. China, they're Chinese. You come to America, America's built on evolutionary concepts. Concepts to see greatness. Evolutionary concepts. So when you look at America and you see the diversity, you hear the word diversity. You got multiple levels of evolution, intelligence, smartness, skin tones, nationalities from all nations coming to this land, America. But you don't see that with other nations. That characteristic is associated with Jesus. And on the back of the $1 bill, in God we trust. And if you look at the 5-pointed star, if you take two triangles or pyramids, you offset them. That's also symbolism for the Jews. Now you fill it in. Now it's the 5-pointed star. So in terms of United States being Christianity as hierarchy 1. Now, we're built with many immigrants, all walks of life. And as what I just illustrated with Jesus, if there's any doubt in your mind as to United States is hierarchy 1, Jesus, that has to stay that way. Because that is what this country is built on. The principles, because he's a leader. Okay, so about evolution. He's the Son of God. Now, wouldn't you, with just common sense, no matter who you believe and how you call God, I call energy, it's about evolution, concept, logic. As what was in all books. That God made man in its own image. If you're energy, then it's energy. If you're a male, it's a male. If you're a female, it's a female. So from that concept, Alpha and Omega. Okay, so there's many variables that we see towards God. Omnipresence. God is everything. So if you list of all the characteristics, qualities, just in God himself, what people perceive of God, is all these skill sets together in a highly functional, what we term as high evolution. Not just one or two tools and skill sets, all of them coming together. And he's the Son of God. America, many diversity coming together on this planet. So when you're going to bring all these people together and you got everyone from different thinking sets, now you got to put a plan together, a system of things, which is unalienable rights. Since you're developing in your evolution, it has to be conducive for a multitude of people. Because that's what's here. So, plain observation is it can't just cater to the rich. It can't just cater to the poor. It can't just cater to the middle class. Trinity, the third element. As we know with water, water is more stable with H2O, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. You say, well, can we have water with 1 hydrogen and 1 oxygen? Yes, but it's very unstable. They'll break apart and then you have hydrogen and oxygen. And if they break apart and you have a match, you got a campfire, then you got one hell of a boom. Okay, so H2O, it's done in that way, the 3. That's why rich, the middle class, and poor, what we know, without a doubt, what makes up your water. Now we're in that technology that we can look and see what water is composed of. We can see things. And when you look as far as you can go, energy composes smaller parts or subparts that make up me, that make up you, makes up this wall. If you break it down, you'll see all the molecules, many of them, together, making a much bigger item. So, that just sounds like symbolism. Multitude, a variety of things, just like our body, the way our body is designed. We got an arm, we got a leg, we got fingers. Multitude of tools. Arm is a tool. My fingers is a tool. My head is a tool. My skull is a tool. My jaw, my nose, everything is a tool. Coming together in a perfect, what is classified and proven with all the life out there. The life here is less than 1% of all the life out there, the 144,000, is a perfect life form as a leader. Is there other formats of life and stuff? Well, think of it as a lottery. You have these numbers and you say, what's the total combination, probability? And you say, well, there's 3 trillion possibilities when you go in exact order. So, yeah, there's a variety of life out there. So, the human race, we are identified by our bones. Bones. So, teaching Adam and Eve in Genesis, Eve is made by Adam's rib, bone. We are identified by our bones. T-Rex, and you say, oh, that's T-Rex? Yeah, that's T-Rex. Why? I recognize the bones. Is that a human? Is that the human race? Yep, I recognize the bones. I didn't say skin. I didn't say blood. So Jesus was a human. He was of the human race. Whether, black, white, or whatever skin he was, if he's dead when he got his bones, you say, yeah, he's the human race. And he's the Son of God. And we see him as, so if we look at our bones and say we're dead, and say those are multiple diversity of bones, different sizes, all together in a system. Nativity, disciples, even at the crucifixion, unity. What's our premises? United we stand, divided we fall. The yin, the yang, Last Supper. So I know a lot. When you're the author of Evolutional Concepts, I'm going to provide you more information than what you could ever read out of a book or on the History Channel. That's the difference between someone who's a scholar and who is an author. So now when we pull in the facts, power observation, just like if I'm naked, you don't have to ask me if I'm a male. You would say, what you know that is the guideline of a male. You say, yeah, he's a male. So you don't even have to ask me. So these things that I just pointed out to you, the things that's been in the books, in many different cultures, coming together. And you have a United States, a diversity of people, of religion, of intelligence, size, different shades of brown. So you say, well, Eve, why was she created second? Eve, or the female, has a child. So in terms of number, you got number 1 and number 2. You got to assign these numbers to your human race. You say, well, I'm going to give the 1 to the male. He only has one life. I'm going to give the 2 to the female. That's hierarchy. Does that mean he's more important than her? No. Because as you know, common sense, logic, you need a male and a female coming together, procreating to yield the third element, or trinity. Meaning your offspring, in terms of evolution, and what you know to teach it, should be advancing forward better than what you could ever be. That's the concept of the third element. It's a combination you two. Okay, so back then, it gives an understanding as to why men were held more valuable than the females in terms of evolution. Like I had said, is a person can make the observation, male and female, and when a man ejaculates, okay, and we see trees, apple, and they have little seeds. So they were understanding males, that was the male seed. Just like an apple seed. Like you're going to plant that in the ground and then a child will come out. I mean, some people actually thought that. But it'll give you an understand why they put more value to the men and then the women. Because they didn't know the reproductive system. They didn't know that the female had an egg and it was his sperm and the egg coming together. Oh my God. Did I mention about something coming together? Sperm and egg coming together, fusing to be one. You know, it's like Merry Christmas. So, or Happy Hanukkah. Any nation out there, at some point in your life, no matter what culture and belief or religion you're in, people understand the value of family. I mean, the default, most part of the family. There's a lot of dysfunctional family out there. But in the general sense, people like coming together. People like the unity. They appreciate their mother, their father. They got that connection, unity. Because if you look at the number system, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and if you, in mathematics, you know you have to have all those symbols using in a equation, in a system of things, to be awesome. Rockets, jets, military. So if you take any of those numbers out, it's no longer superior. Okay, the human race. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. If everyone's dead and we line you up next to the T-Rex, yep, skeleton, 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 identified by the bones. Now, we know they say, well, not everyone's created equal. You got different levels of intelligence. Diversity. When you look out on this planet, the sixth heaven, is when you see the diversity of people, different skin tones, Chinese, Japanese, Russians, Australians, Canadians, Mexicans. And you say, wait, in terms of evolution and understanding energy, your first clue was you all were brought here. And say, well, you think of evolution and time that things evolve, and you say, well, I evolved from a monkey, I evolved from a fish, I evolved from a tadpole. Really? Okay. People were brought here. And it's because you wanted to be here. You want to train as an apprentice for leadership, and you also want insight, what God's like, of your love and passion for the highest level of evolution. When we evolve, so does it. So when you start looking at it, it's overwhelming that United States hierarchy is Christianity. And you say, well, what if we, like Obama, he's a Muslim. He can be a president, but if he's going in to be our president, to switch everything around, to turn our nation into a Islamic Muslim nation, that is dead wrong. That ain't going to happen. It's like, okay, a man He can have a sex change. But the thing is, you have to force it to happen, but it's not natural. Just like a small-breasted woman. She can have augmentation, but that's not, she didn't come naturally with that. So that's why in our nation we got multiple immigrants, religions. So that has to stay Christianity, and everything about it is coming together. So our first stage is United States. United States. We have 50 states. United States. So we had individual states, and we come together. The states coming together. Now we're united with 50. 50, right to left, 05. 5-pointed star. If you look on the back of the dollar bill, and it looks above the eagle, in the middle, using stars, 3, or on that is, well, I put a posting on this. Okay, I won't go too much into the dollar bill. But my symbolism, my signature is on the $1 bill. And I put postings explaining that. The direction, the orientation. But we're just focusing on this duly noted 18F to remove any doubt in anyone's mind out there who Jesus was and his main characteristic in America. Because on the seventh heaven, America, okay, religion, or a government is a religion. And you say, well, it's a structure, bringing law and order. Because when you got all this diversity, you'll have chaos. You'll be extinct if you don't have a system of doing things. Especially when you're dealing with multiple levels of people and thought and belief systems. So you figure God, what you would expect of it, isn't it organizing, or what you perceive, what's controlling all this universe and stars and perfectly? It's governing our universe. So that is a religion. Government is a religion. The military is its fellowship. Why? For self-preservation. You get all these people like the Noah's Ark. You stand back and look at the earth. The earth itself is symbolism of an ark. You're contained. So your two choices. You learn how to cohabitate, or you become a professional extinctionist. It means you're dead. And it doesn't matter what achievements you have. Because other life will look at you and they'll identify your bones and say, yep, that's a human race. And they're extinctionists. And say, but he's a millionaire, he's a billionaire, she's a trillionaire, and that person has 20 hotels. Now life form says, I don't care. All I'm going by is what they are now. Extinctionists. I mean, they weren't able to figure it out. They'd rather fight each other and eat each other and destroy each other. That's all that I can count on at their worst. You know, on the seventh heaven, my least value is 7 alien. So we look at the very least that I can expect out of you. That's how they're going to look at you. And say, what? They became an extinctionist? Not what you accomplish. Because when you're extinct, everything else goes away. So it doesn't matter what efforts you had. So when you start looking at it, not I think or I believe, like I illustrated with your bones, with the time, the hours, the days, you know, everything, and we can go into this quite extensive. But when I've already proven my case, the judge would say, you won the case. You have proven your point. You have brought the evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt by me and 100 jurors, 1,000 jurors, 6 billion jurors, from their observation and what they know. America Christianity. But, like I said, we can go on and on and on. So that's why we're a keystone. Look at Israel. Israel is like a little body of land in between two big masses. It's in the middle, like we see in the ark, in the old bridges. You have a keystone, which is in the middle. You take out the keystone, it all falls out. Symbolism. So, I think we'll hold it right there. We're almost at our time on this. So, if you were any doubt on duly noted 18F, if this is Christianity, Jesus, coming together, I have proven it. And I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. So on this landmass, North America, South America, one hand up, one hand Last Supper. And that's why in the Last Supper there was a female in there, Mary Magdalene, giving symbolism. If there's 12 males, then it would automatically mean there's 12 females. But because they put more value to men, because they thought if you got rid of the women, their thinking wise, he's got the seeds for procreation. That's why he had more value. But they didn't know that they still needed her. So you understand in terms of people's evolution and their thinking of things that, the lost in translation. I mean, you're thinking like a caveman. There's a lot of things you don't know. Just like today in 2016, there's still a lot of things you don't know. You're still in a development. You're still training. You're still an apprentice. So there's two types of apprentice. You're my one-on-one apprentice, or you're an apprentice of anything that I put out, like this video, or your experience of life out there. It's going to teach you. The things that have been set up from the school system to our government, everything that's been constructed in America. It may not be perfect, but it wasn't intended to be perfect. It was intended to be high functionality. If it's high functionality, then you can bring a diversity of people. But you won't be without problems, because now the animals in Noah's Ark have to learn how to cohabitate, how to get along, utilize their skill sets, human behavior, with logic and reasoning. Like a tempered piece of glass. You smack it, it breaks into a million different pieces. You want to know my religion? You put all the religions together and a few more, that's my religion. What you see out there, it's all sectored up. So, United States, the next stage is United Nations we stand. Coming together. Is coming together. United States, United Nations, and then the next stage is United Worlds we stand. And because we are going to be the leaders. And that's why everyone has to be trained and developed. And once you start doing things the right way, things will leaps and bounds versus a snail's pace. And that's essentially what's happened. The last couple hundred years, a lot of this advancement. And say, wait, okay,